Hey, Ironhide, tell my son Daniel I miss him. And tell him not to worry. I'll be coming home as soon as we've kicked Megatron's tail across the galaxy.
Will do, Spike.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Newage Security Hawk. Their take on a 2.0 version of Ironhide. Yes, they saw that Magic Square made one, so yes, they had to come back and make a 2.0 and try to battle it out. So is it better than Magic Square? We're going to discuss that, but I did get this from Shows. I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours. Let's get to take a look at Newage Security Hawk. Coming up. Alright, so here is the packaging. It does look pretty G1-esque. It's got some stuff on the top. You can see the sled, not the actual figure, which is weird. There's the side and the back. Not too bad. Alright, so here he is out of the package. He's a tiny little guy there, and his accessory bit is pretty much as big as him. So I guess the whole point of it is to look like this is what we saw with the original. Now, real quick, I am going to show some accessories here, and then we can move on to the vehicle, but that's kind of the homage. I don't have the missile in there. I got to dig it out or something. I don't store it in there, but that's the vintage, and that's what it was homaging to the vintage toy. So this does hold almost everything, kind of except this little piece here, or there's two more hands. Of course, you expect to have those on them, but you have to take them off the screws, that kind of stuff. But still pretty cool. You got a jetpack. You got two hands that actually move. We'll see that when we get into alt mode. We have this piece here, and then, I don't know, the fire hose kind of thing. This is got some articulation to it, and it just kind of plugs in. Some blast effects, and 3 different guns, 2 different types of chrome, and then this is different too. It's sort of a drill type of gun, but pretty cool mechanism. We'll just set that aside. We'll see more of that in the bot mode. So getting into the alt mode here, it's small, stubby. To me, it doesn't look quite right because it's not quite as rounded off as I would like, but it is Legends. Legends almost always get a pass, and as long as the bot mode looks good, I think everyone will be happy for the most part. Ginormous pins right here that are involved in the transformation process and all that kind of stuff. You see some legs on the bottom. You see some, so I think that's a little bit of paint there. So there's paint all through here, the yellow line, and I think that's either painted or it's just a really shiny pin. Either way, it looks like a hubcap, so it gets the job done. You have some paint on the front. Yeah, it's kind of cartoon looking, so not really much to say about the alt mode other than it's really small. Let's get into some comparisons with it. Here it is compared to a vintage one, and I've got to admit that the vintage one does have sort of the roundedness to it, but mine's kind of rough shape, so I'm not exactly proud of this thing, but it's there. It was $5. I mean, that's most of my vintage Transformers I got for $5 or less. And then getting the accessories, well, that was a different story, but still. This one, I do kind of like the original vintage look better because that's what I think of. I think of that mode when I think of this figure, this vehicle. So here we are with McFan's Toys. That's like a bit oversized. Magic Square, Newage. Am I right? No, that's Newage. This is Magic Square. I kind of forget at this point, but anyway, that's kind of how it scales with some stuff. Alright, so all the fun of this is going to be in the bot mode anyway, so let's get started. We are going to need to start removing some panels right here. You need to kind of get in there and then pull this out at the same time. Do that on both sides, right above the yellow line. Some people use spudgers and whatever. I don't use spudgers so much. Now, there's a tab right here and a tab right here. And so with that, from that, you're going to want to pull this out and then pull this at the legs. They also have a tab right here. So as you can see, all those tabs holding together, which is good, that holds it together, but you need to know how to get it apart without breaking the tabs and not just manhandling going crazy with it. So from there, we can go ahead and pull these legs down. Then we need to pull the arms, separate the arms off of here. They should just be tabbed. Make sure I was right. Yeah, there's a tab right here for the arms, and that comes off. And then you kind of open it all up, and then you can fold down the other part of the legs. And separate and split the legs, and we'll do one leg at a time. We'll start with the legs so we can build it up. So he looks like, it's actually kind of cool. It looks like you could turn him into sort of a octopus, a quadrupus. Here we go. at that point. Anyway, so we need to fold these pieces up. And I really should just do one leg at a time. Stay focused on it. Fold this piece of the leg up. You're going to fold it in, and then you're going to fold this down, and you're going to tab these 2 tabs into that right there. Now, be very mindful how much good paint there is. You don't want to scratch it as you're doing all this. Very good. Same thing over here. We've already folded that up. We're going to tab this stuff in like so, and then fold all this over and around, down and around. Now, you have his legs more or less done. I think we need to rotate them around so you get the better look to it. We'll find that out here in a bit. Yeah, I think that's about how it goes. Then I think we do a full-on reverse. We do a full-on reverse. I'm going to pull this up just a bit. Now, getting into the top, there's a few more things that we're going to have to do with this top part, but we want to unfoil this, and we need to bring this out. There we go. This is going to come out. We are going to bring this piece here out. Now the head's going to come out and around. This stuff here is going to flip around. And it's nice and tight. Then that's going to fold up, and it's going to have that piece there. Then we need to this should be coming down too. Let's not. There we go. There we go. See how I did that? I didn't really explain it, but I held on to this piece and just folded this back up to create sort of the waist area down there a little bit better. Okay, so we still have to work on what's going on up top here. All right, so from here, we're going to close up these pieces, and then those go in like that. This folds down a bit. We're going to fold the whole back down, and then this in. So there, like that. And let's do this side. There we go. And then with the shoulders, we're going to rotate the shoulders around. And then we got to take care of the arms. So the way this kind of works, I went ahead and did one arm to make sure I knew exactly how it was done right. Okay. So it's on kind of a slider here. And so we're going to slide this around. And then this is going to tab in to here. And then you have it. So it's going to have kind of a long forearm, like a thick forearm kind of thing going on here with it. And then we need to flip that around so we have the shoulder. So if it's a clean side of the shoulder, a clean side of the shoulder. And then looking at the waist, I think I might have had the waist backwards because I see the pins though. But this is the thing. It doesn't really matter. Either way, I think would work exactly the same. There we go. But let's go ahead and plug his hands in too. And get his right hand plugged in here. And his left. You have to pop these off the screws and all that kind of stuff. So there he goes. There he is in his robot mode. And we're going to throw a gun in there and all kinds of accessories. Have a look at them. All right, let's get into the articulation here. The head is on a... Is it a ball joint? It's a ball joint. And it goes up. Not really down and left and right and all that kind of stuff. The head is painted really well. The face is painted really well. Just heavy, massive amount of paint. You can take this backpack off. All right, and the shoulder, we go all this range. Part of that is for transformation. You flip it to 360. You got the bicep swivel all the way 360. And a double jointed elbow, if you can do it right, then you can get it right there. And then on the hand, we did show that this one's splayed, but the regular one is not. It's just simply one chunk of plastic. So this goes in and out and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool for like interesting poses you can get with this that I just really didn't think about, but stop. Hammer time. Okay, so the waist, you get that much. So they're really doing a lot of the ab crunch kind of stuff. And then, of course, you can flip it all the way around. Like I flipped the whole waist piece around unnecessarily, of course. And then you do have the hiding hip flaps. Hiding hip flaps on a Legends figure. So that's where we're at now in 2023. Sort of a double jointed knee, but not all the way. But really close. So, I mean, you get quite a bit out of it. thigh swivel, all that kind of stuff. Quite a bit of articulation in this guy. They really did not want to lose to Magic Square here. Like, this is literally the only reason this thing exists is so that they don't lose to Magic Square. That's it. That's all there is to it. I mean, they have what, like 70 more characters they could do, and yet they make the same one again because Magic Squares was that good. All right, so for comparison, we're going to start out with the Magic Square comparison, and I have to admit that I still think Magic Square's design is a very good design, and I think this one's decent also. Hard to say which one's better, because this one presents better with the paint, like fantastic. Look at all that. These are flat, which we might get a repainted one down the road, who knows, but I mean, this is this versus this, right? And you see that they did a better job with the forearms than what was over here. The look of the chest looks cheap versus that, but I do like the contour of the chest. Let's see if we can kind of get this going with a side view. From the side view, I think that the Magic Square one is still a little bit cleaner, and the Magic Square one's great, but you can't go wrong with either one of these, and they're very similar in pricing, I believe. I have to look that up. And then there is kind of a different view from an angle on the back, and then straight on the back. Magic Square still looks cleaner, even though it kind of has more of a backpack. I guess you could say more of a backpack than this one. But yeah, I think Magic Square did clean up just a little bit better overall. And then the last thing of the comparison here is size. Magic Square is still just a little bit taller, a little bit bigger. But here's what I'm thinking. Let's pull him out. But why not display one from Newage and one from Magic Square? You have two different characters, theoretically two different people, two different entities, and yet they're from different companies, so they feel like they're different characters. I've been saying this for a while. All right, so here we go with the culprit, the reason this guy even exists, and it's Henry. People raved over this thing like it was the greatest thing ever, and I knew it wasn't good. From the day I got it, it wasn't great. It looked like an Ironhide. I was happy to have an Ironhide. I think that's how everybody was. They were happy to have an Ironhide, but it wasn't great. But this is better, but it still has kind of like a bigger forearm. There are some issues. This isn't perfect, but it's maybe light years better than their 1.0. And they don't even want to call it a 2.0. They call it a whole different thing. They call it Security Hawk or something like that. So, pretty interesting. Here's how my scale with more characters that you might have in your collection. Magic Square, McFan's Toys, Newage, and Iron Factory. And I just want to point out that he's taller than the G1, and I think a little bit better engineered. I think this is a slight improvement from the G1 piece of junk that we had. All right, to be honest, pretty much every Legends one is an improvement to the original, and this actually is taller than the original. All right, so what do I think about this new 2.0 of Ironhide from Newage, the Security Hawk? I think this is their let's be friends again take. Let's try to beat Magic Square, and let's one-up Magic Square. I don't think they one-up Magic Square. I think that they do beat in presentation and paint like they always do, but I think the design of Magic Square is still pretty good. It's pretty solid. And what I want to do in my display is display one of each. This one for Newage, and then Ratchet for Magic Square, and call it a day. And I'll be very happy with that. I think that's a pretty good way to go. Pretty good route to go, and it's kind of fun to have both. But it's not perfect. I think the forearms are a bit hefty. I think the sides of him are a little bit strangely looking. But overall, the rest of it looks fantastic. And this definitely beats what Takara did in the Masterpiece line. So I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours at ShowZ, and you can put in the reviewer code TH to support reviewer for Titanium Hanger. Titanium Hanger out.
Ironhide, report to me at once. Every time I look into a monitor prime, my circuits sizzle. When are we gonna start busting Decepticons? The Autobots will be vanquished forever! No! Such heroic nonsense.